Since you guys are back in my video, I thank you very much for sharing my message around and for being around with me. I realize that this video is how to open. I need to really explain how to open in this video so that you understand what the basis of what Jesus did. I need you to understand that when somebody knocks on your door, you can realize that many people are scared to let somebody in. You can be honest with that. You can say that when Jesus knocks on the door of everybody in the world, I promise you that everybody will open. I promise you that when I go to do it, also, I promise you that minimal people will open it in terms of who's already met me. I promise you that now there's a great disturbance in the world that says, hey, why would I let Jason and Freddy Krueger inside my home when they're showing me the claws and the machete in front of my door? Why would I even let someone like Michael Myers, who has a butcher knife, who just knocked on my door, to come inside my house? I believe that I'd get killed. I realize no matter what, I may never get killed. You never know that. You never know what's going to happen. You may be thinking too much bullcrap. You have to understand that no matter what, you never, ever go too much into the serious killing business. You have to understand that you need to be open. You need to be open like Jesus. You have to realize that Jesus, put in my situation, I understand what would happen. I understand that Jesus, in my footsteps, would open the door for Jason, who's holding a machete, and also Michael Myers, who's holding a butcher. I swear that no matter what, that Jesus would open the door for those people who are murderers and killers and thieves and sinners and everything. I promise you that I relate this into the accommodation message. I promise you that when they come and knock on your door and they are holding a butcher knife and they have a mask on and you realize they have blood on them, I promise you that you have to let them in. I promise you that you have to let them in. I promise you that Jesus would. I promise you that Jesus would, in your shoes, open the door from your house and let those people in. I promise you, no matter what, that is the case today. I promise you that it will always be the case. I never need you to fear. I need you to learn from this. I need you to learn what Jesus is saying. I need you to understand that many people today will never do that. I promise you that the world is lacking trust. I promise you that the world is never trusting in people. I need you to understand why. I need you to understand that you just do it for God. I need you to understand that you just trust God. I never need you to trust human people. I need you to understand that. I never need you to trust anybody of this world. I need you to trust God. I never need you to trust me either. I will help you grow as much as I can. I help you grow more than most people. I promise you. I need you to understand that you are the only person that can grow more than me in your life. I need you to understand that I can never grow for you. I can only give you the tools and necessities and ideas and whatever you need to grow. You have to go and grab what I have. You have to go and apply it into your life. I need to teach you how to communicate. I need to teach you what Jesus is really saying. I need you to realize that you must be open. You must be open and compassionate, because being compassionate is being open. You need to realize that when other people cause you violence and hit you, I need you to be open to it. I need you to accept it. You have to realize that being open is accepting. You have to realize that being open is also forgiveness. You also have to link words together with what open is and with anything in life. I just went into synonyms and I went into seeing the synonyms of reflective. I see in this term, I read it like this. You can see that reflective is retrospective. You can see that reflective is, for example, sombre. You can see reflective is somber. You can see reflective is serious-minded. You can see reflective as serious. You can see reflective as earnest. I started to really delve into these imaginations and synonyms because I already learned some words right here. I already learned what reflective is. I can already say that sombre is retrospective. I can say sombre is philosophical. I can say sombre is philosophic. I can say sombre is philosophical. I can say sombre is philosophical. I will say that sombre is philosophical. I sometimes get it wrong. I get it wrong in a way that I need to better myself. I realize no matter what, there is no wrong or right. I realize it's just a mistake I have to learn from. I realize it's philosophical. I realize that's how you say it. You have to realize that I've already learned some words over here. I've got smarter. I've already picked up nice, beautiful connection points I can use in my sombre videos. I realize that in a retrospect, I can be serious-minded and have an earnest ability to really self-aware in terms of I can be self-aware and I can also have self-awareness. I realize I break up in my communication sometimes. I realize I can have an earnest ability in my retrospective mind, which is a serious mind, to realize that my earnest capability to say no matter what that a somber choice is a sober one because a sober choice is a reflective choice. I realize no matter what, I just learned a nice beautiful synonym pattern with cousins related to the word reflective. You have to understand how I done that. I was open to it. I was open to learning. I was open to go and just search my beautiful phone I have. I have the dictionary, I have the encyclopedia, I have the Wikipedia, I have everything I ever need inside my phone. I realize no matter what, I have more than my phone. I have eye. Eye is even more. I realize no matter what, that no possessions of this world is ever going to escalate me in any way. I realize that my phones and my people of this world and anything of this world can never help me grow. I realize that money can never make me grow. I realize only I can make myself grow. I need to do something in order to grow. I need to be open. I need to be open. I apologize. I can never be closed. I realize that a closed-minded says no. I realize that open-minded people say yes. I realize that closed-minded people say no to growth. I realize they die. I realize that open-minded people are open and say yes to growth. I realize that open people say yes to themselves. I realize that closed people say no to themselves. You need to realize how to open. You need to realize what Jesus is saying. You need to grow and be curious about Jesus. You need to realize that Jesus walked the planet and never had to buy real estate. You can realize that Jesus in those times went and lived with people. You have to realize that Jesus had disciples. You realize no matter what, that for Jesus, that was all the money in the world. You realize that no matter what, when you have people around you and you have companions, you can realize that those companions can do stuff for you. You can realize no matter what that Jesus' disciples did it for free. You can realize that Jesus would say, I need you to go and grab us some fruits and vegetables and a nice beautiful feast. I realized that probably 6 of his disciples would go and do that. I realized the other 3 would stay with him. I promised that no matter what, Jesus would send the other 3 to have messengers to go and say, I need you to speak with this guy for this. I need you to say, I sent you. I promise you that the disciple would go to that person and say, I was sent by Jesus to give you this message. I promise you that's richness. I promise you that money can never buy that. I promise you that money can never buy freedom. I need you to understand what can buy freedom. I need you to understand that only you can do free work to gain freedom. I need you to understand that free work will get you everything. I need you to understand why I do my free work. I'm open to it. I'm open to learning about Jesus and teaching Jesus' name. I'm open to learning more about life and escalating my synonym patterns. I need you to recognize what synonyms are. I need you to see that synonyms is just related words. You need to relate words with words. I realized I started reading all these words in terms of reflective is this and reflective is that. I realized reflective can be said as, you have to realize no matter what, that you are a person who just connects the dots. You have to connect the dots as philosophical means philosophy. You have to realize that philosophical is also philosophic. You have to realize that philosophic is philosophy. You have to realize you have to change it up. You have to relate the words. You have to realize that no matter what, you keep going. You need to realize that you have to learn antonyms as well. So what do you do with antonyms? Antonyms is an opposite trait of synonym. I can say, for example, that a synonym with good is goodness. I can say an antonym with good is evil. I can say the antonym cousin of evil is negative. You have to realize that. You have to realize that the good synonym of good is positive. You have to realize that antonyms can only be related to antonyms. I never need you to relate antonyms with synonyms. I promise you, you can still do that and learn the yin-yang theory. I can promise you that you can learn the opposites. I promise you now that you better do it. You can also relate antonyms with synonyms. You can say good is evil. You can understand that. You can understand that no matter what, that those are the opposite traits. You can say goodness is evil. You can say positive is negative. You understand that? You have to understand that the world is opposite. You have to learn the opposite sides of the story. You have to be able to brainstorm how to increase your vocabulary. And you need to do it every single day. And you grow big trees. How do you do it? You just be open. You have to be open to it. You have to open your mind. I remember the Total Recall movie. Open your mind. I realized that baby was saying, open your mind. I can remember. No matter what, I realized I dropped into the ego there. I never need to do that. I realized I have to put my I there. I can say, in this term, I can say that the baby was saying, open your mind. I have to put my I before the open your mind. I realized that when you just say open your mind without no I prior to the open your mind, I realize you fell into the ego. I need you to have an I there. I need you to relate words with I more and more. How do you do that? What's the whole point of this video? You have to understand, I've been elaborating on something. You have to be open. You have to realize no matter what, that you have to open your heart, you have to open your mind, you have to open your vision, you have to open your dreams, you have to open the door, you have to open your heart to anybody, you have to open people and welcome them. You have to open to forgive someone. You have to open to give a service. You have to open to sell something in a free way. You only sell ever for free. You never sell for money. You never sell a house for money. What's the whole point of that? You have to understand. You have to understand in the first place that you never own a house. You have to realize that as soon as you give money for a house, you have to realize it's your house. I don't care. I don't care what other people say. You have to realize that when you have invested the amounts into the house, I need you to realize that when you have invested the amount into the house, it's your house. I realize that other people, what they are doing, I need you to realize what other people are doing. I need you to realize they're going to the bank. I realize they're depositing a certain amount of cash into the real estate. I promise you, they've used other people's money to gain the real estate. I realize they've used 75% of the money from the bank from that equity of the real estate. You have to realize what equity is. You have to realize that equity is just money. You have to realize that equity is money bills. You have to realize that bills is nothing. You have to realize that you never pay bills. You have to realize that you never go for bills. You have to realize that bills is like a dollar plastic paper. You have to realize that people who say money bills, I promise you it's never a bill. I promise you that you never need to bill. I promise you never need to charge anybody. I dislike the word bill. I also see it's a word. I need to use it. I need you to reference bill and billing as something that people invest in. You need to invest into bills. I need you to be an investor. I need you to realize that you invest into words. I need you to realize that you never look at money as dollar bills. You have to understand that there is a negative connotation going on that you have to go and pay bills. You never go pay bills. You just go invest your money in a better place than bills. I need you to realize that when you are opening to the game of finance, you have to realize what finance is all about. You have to realize it's all about openness. What are you doing with your money? How are you succeeding with your money? How are you managing your money? Where are you investing your money? How are you helping people with money? You have to realize that it's really that money can only give you a certain amount of life up to the point of where you've grown. I promise you that money will never alone increase your capability. I promise you that money will amplify you and your life in terms of it will help you to live your life. I promise you it will help you live your life. I promise you, although, to increase $1 to $10, I promise you that money will never do that for you. I promise you that many people are saying that money can do that. I promise you that many people are saying that money can grow money. I promise you that's a facade. I promise you that's a lie. I promise you that money can never grow money. I need you to realize what money is. I need you to realize it's really freedom. I'd rather have freedom than money. I'd rather be open than have money. I need you to realize that. I realize that money can never open me. I realize that I can open money. I can open money. I can open the resources. I can open everything in my life. I realize no matter what that I can never buy love. I can never buy love. I realize that when you pour $1 million into a woman to be with you, I realize it's fake love. I realize it's never really the love that you're looking for. I realize free love. I realize free love though. I realize when a woman's giving you free love, I realize it's real love. I realize when you're giving her $1 million every day to give you love, I promise you it's fake. I promise you that Robert Kiyosaki has fake money, fake teachers, fake government schools and education systems. I need you to realize that no matter what, that you disable everything you've ever been taught about money. I need you to realize that money is never evil. I need you to realize that money alone is never evil. I need you to realize that working for money is evil. I need you to realize that many people use money in a negative way. I'll name them. I realize no matter what, they're doing stuff illegal with money. I realize they're selling drugs for money. I realize they're working for money. I realize they are hiding money and stealing it. I realize they're being thieves around money. I realize no matter what, that other people are getting money so that other people can kill other people. I realize that other people are setting up the system of the rich get richer in terms of the financially rich get richer financially. I realize that rich get richer only through freedom. I realize there are rich out there who are I promise you that there are people who are promoting the rich as people who have money. I realize that money will never make you rich. I need you to understand. Understand that money will never make you rich. I understand there are many people promoting to go where the millionaires are because they have this money. I realize they're leading you astray. I need you to go to the millionaires because they're freedom. I understand they're free. I understand it's not because of the money. I need you to understand why they are free. I need you to understand they're doing free work. I need you to understand they're open-minded. I need you to understand they're open. I need you to understand that they're open to what? I need you to understand they're open to freedom. I need you to open freedom. I need you to go and do something that's for free. I do this for free. I have a blast. I have a beautiful time doing it. I'll never do it for money. I'll never do it for money. I do it for free. When I do it for free, I do it for something bigger than me. I do it for God. I do it for free. I realize that God's freedom. I realize that God is eternity. I realize that you can never give money to get into eternity. I promise you. I promise you need to go there for free. I promise you just go there for free. I promise you that there is no fucking price where you have to go work for God to get into eternity. I promise you that's in this world. I promise you that's this world here where you have to go give money to live. I promise you in eternity, you just go there for free and you live for free forever. I promise you that's the way it is. You need to realize that when you're opening a door for yourself, you open a door for other people too. You help unlock their abilities. You do that for free. You do it because you're open-minded. You do it because you're reflective. You do it because you're serious-minded. You do it because you need to be in retrospect. You need to be a person who is having your own philosophy. You need to be a person who has your own sombre. You need to be sober about it. You can realize that Jesus was sober. You have to go copy Jesus. You have to go do everything that Jesus is doing. I promise you, you need to emulate Jesus. I promise you that's your inspiration. I promise you that if you have any other inspirations, I promise you you've already failed. I promise you you'll never live the Jesus lifestyle. I promise you that you go and do it for something bigger than Jesus. I promise you there is always something bigger. I promise you no matter what, that you need something bigger in life. I need you to never limit yourself to Jesus. I need you to go bigger than Jesus. I need you to go and do it for something above Jesus. I just need you to go and follow Jesus' footsteps though. I promise you that Jesus was doing it for something above Jesus. I promise you that Jesus was never selfish about it and doing it for Jesus. I promise you Jesus was doing it for the Father. I promise you Jesus looked up. I promise you that Jesus looked up in the heavens and said, I promise you, Father, I need you to forgive them, for they know what they do. I promise you that I promise you that Jesus said, I promise you that they do not know what they do. I never need you to confuse that. I promise you that Jesus looked up in the heavens and said that. I promise you that Jesus was doing what Jesus was doing for the heavens. For something bigger than Jesus. I promise you when you look up, I need you to go look up. I need you to go and do it for up there. I never need you to go fucking do it for the world. I never need you to do it for the world. I mean, anything that's in the world, I never need you to do it for that. I never need you to do it for me. I never need you to do it for your mum. I never need you to do it for your sister. I never need you to do it for your sister-in-law. I never need you to do it for your cousins. I never need you to do it for your ancestry. I need you to do it for something bigger. I need you to look up. I need you to look up. I promise you, you'll find a better way. I need you to do it for free. I promise you when you do it for free, you're looking up. I promise you Jesus never did it for the money. I promise you Jesus will go today living in people's doors. I promise you today Jesus would go and knock on people's doors and would ask, would you let me in? I promise you, no matter what, some would. I promise you, no matter what, other people would reject Jesus. I promise you, no matter what, you have to understand that they have to be notified that it's really Jesus. I promise you that anybody can act like Jesus. I promise you there are many Jesuses. I promise you there are many Jesuses walking around saying they are Jesus. And you should realize that when people are notified this is God, Jesus, knocking on your door, I promise you have to open. I promise you when you never open, you'll die. You need to open for your God. You need to open. You need to open your God. I promise you no matter what, I can picture Jesus knocking on everybody's doors. I can picture Jesus even making more sense about everything, and you never know. People can reject it. You have to realize that Jesus would walk this road that we live in today. I promise you Jesus would never work for money. I promise you Jesus would just go walk and live with people around town. I promise you no matter what, that Jesus would do the same thing he did when he came into this world. I promise you will say, hey you on the street, I need you to be my disciple. I say, hey you, I need you to come follow me. I promise you that Jesus will come and do this again. I promise you those people will give him accommodation for free. I promise you they will do everything for Jesus. I promise you Jesus will live the same lifestyle as Jesus did. I promise you nothing will change about Jesus. I promise you that Jesus will never go and hunt for women. I promise you Jesus will never do anything to do what the world does. I promise you Jesus would stay Jesus and level up. I promise you Jesus would try to go and live 60 years this time instead of 33. I promise you Jesus will go fucking forever. I promise you, no matter what, that you realize that, say Jesus made the kid in those times, I promise you those people would have chucked his baby off the bridge. I promise you. I realize why Jesus never made kids. I realized that Jesus already knew what was going on. I realized that Jesus already seen it happening. I realized Jesus walked it. I realized Jesus said, I'll never even go for the woman. I realized that no matter what, I'll give him a baby and the people in the town would fucking kill my baby. I realized they killed Jesus. I promise you. I need you to realize, no matter what, that Jesus will do this. I promise you that Jesus will do the exact same thing today. I'd love to meet Jesus. I need you to realize that you have a system in life where you're doing it openly. I need you to open your heart. I need you to open your mouth. I need you to open yourself totally. I need you to say to everybody how you get your money. I need you to say everything about you. I need you to say everything about you. I need you to expose yourself completely. I need you to realize that you open your heart and message and have a heart-filled message all the time. I need you to realize you do it for free. I do this for free. I do 4-hour videos, 5-hour videos. I can do 5-hour videos. I can do more than that. I do it for free. I can hear other people saying, what's the point? I realize that freedom is the point. I'd rather be free and do it for free than having to gain $100,000 to do this. I realized that money would block me. I realized that nobody would give me money to do my passion. I realized when I do my passion, I realized when I'm doing it for free always, I realized more people will give me money to do it. I promise you that people will just shine money in my face and do it. I believe in that. I believe that when I was a kid, I already seen it. I was doing the exact same thing here. I was just walking around and I was playing chess with people, and people would just say, here's $50 because you did it for free. I realized that many of you may disbelieve me. I promise you that when I was a kid, I was going around with older people than me. I promise you, no matter what, I would say, I need you, Chikagejo. I need you to sit down with me and play some chess for free. I promise you, we never play for money. I promise you, while the oldies were playing, I promise you, when they were playing cards for money, I was sitting there, I didn't even know what they were playing for. I realized I just kept them company for free. I promise you, they'll shine $50 at me. I promise you, I was doing it for free. I had already abundance coming into my life. I attracted it. I didn't know how. I realized then, I explained, no matter what, that my dad took me to gamble. I was going into a gambling house. I was gambling. I started to worry about money. I started to be scarce about money. I realized that people who are scarce about money are always poor. I realized that's why you do it for free. I realized it's never about the money. I never need you to gamble. I never need you to play poker. I never need you to go and gamble your money away and work for money. I realized it's never about the money. I realized when you have no money, you'll become rich. You'll become rich. You'll have even more money. You will realize that the money is really freedom that you need. You never need the money. You never need money. You will have money. You never need it. You need freedom. You realize that many people are walking this life because they are closed to learning. You need to be open to learning. You need to realize that money will never get you anywhere. You have to realize that money will never get you anywhere. I promise you, I traveled Australia. I traveled Australia never because of the money. I promise you that money was never the reason I promise you that money was never the reason alone that I traveled Australia for 10 months. I promise you that money did nothing to help me travel Australia for 10 months. I promise you that money in the future and forever in your lifetime and for everybody else, I promise you, I do it for God. I promise you that you guys have to realize that money will never get you places. I promise you, money is an illusion. I promise you, money is never going to get you to Ibiza to watch Armin van Buuren in a nightclub. I never care how much the entry is. I realize it's all free anyway. I realize all the entries are free. I realize everything's free. I need you to have that mentality. I need you to realize that no matter what, you need to realize that many people are worrying about money and money is fake. I realize that money is just a barrier. I realized money is just something that's going to decrease you. I realized no matter what, the money can decrease you when you are working for it. I realized that money can decrease you. I promise you. I promise you that you go and give money toward drugs and you take the drugs. I promise you the money decreases you. I promise you alone, money can never solve your issues. I promise you money alone can never do... I realize that money alone can never make you do anything. I see, although, that money can either increase your knowledge or decrease it. I just realized that it's really who is behind the money. I realized that money alone never made me better. I realized when I invested the money, I realized I did an amazing job. I realized when I spent money, I never fucking really had it. I realized when I invested money though, I fucking grew it. I need to realize how I done it. I need to realize that no matter what, I was open. I was open to learning about money. I was open to learning about self-education. I was open to learning about being curious and open-minded and leadership and Jesus and God. I realized no matter what, I love words. I love to dwell in them. I love to improve my communication. When I love something, I'm open to it. I need you to be open to it. I need you to love openly. I need you to realize that money alone never made me do anything. I realized that money alone was never my drive. I promise you that it was my biological dad's drive. I promise you, he nailed it into me saying, you must find me money. You must select a horse to win a certain amount of money so that I can give you food. I started to get scarce. I said, I have to fucking do this. I have to really compete against all these people now to get money for my dad. I realized I was really losing it. I was competing against people to win money against them so that I can feed my family. I realized my biological dad taught me that. I never had to do that. I just had to walk out of the gambling industry and say goodbye to my dad at 10 years old. I realized no matter what, I'm not old. I was age 10. I was age 10. I am age 1 now. I realized no matter what my age is, I need to realize that I'm always age 1. I realized back then I was around age 10. I have it the other way around. I need to realize that when I go to 28 and I say I am 28, I'm really 1. I always transform it back into 1. I realized I just really smashed myself there. I realized I really hurt myself to say the number 28 with the I am. I'm only number 1. I never care about my age. I never need to explain my age anymore in my videos. I realize I'm young forever. I am forever young. I want to be forever young. I realize no matter what, I love that song. I'm always young. I'm only 1. I'm only 1 year young. I need to realize. I never care about who's 60 years old. I never care about who's 28. I never care about who's 100. I'm always 1 in life. I need to realize that saying. I need to really be 1. I need to be 1 person. I need to be 1 of who you are. No matter what, I'm God. I'm only 1 God. I promise you there is no 28 gods of me. I promise you there is no 28 people of me. I promise you there is no 100 people of me. I'm only 1 in life. I promise you that money was never the solution to anything in life for me. I promise you that money never solved my problems. I promise you that money never got me to do anything in life. I promise you that it's an illusion that people are saying that money can give you freedom. I promise you that it's an illusion that money can help you go places and that it can get you certain pleasures and that it can do something for you. I promise you money can do nothing for you. I promise you that it's good to have money. I promise you that money can also do something. I promise you now that people have it the other way around. I promise you that money really is important. I just never need you to have money. I need you to have freedom. I need you to realize what I say. I do it. I realize I have money because I work for freedom. I never work for money. I need to understand that those people who say money is important, I promise you money is important. I promise you everything in the world is important. I promise you that evil is important. I promise you that without good, I promise you that without evil, there is no good. I promise you without good, there is no evil. I promise you no matter what, that everything in this life will correlate. I promise you that without positivity, there is no negativity. You have to have two sides of the story. You can never just have only good. You can never just do that. You are living a life. You need to realize that the opposite of money is freedom. You can never have money and freedom at the both. You can never have both. You can have only freedom. I need you to see only freedom and you'll have everything. I promise you that you can never have money and freedom. You can have either freedom or money. You take a guess. I need you to have freedom. I need you to realize that when you're working for money, you never have freedom. I promise you that when you're working for money, you never have freedom. I promise you those people who are working for money, I promise you they're saying money is important. I promise you that those people who are free have money and are saying money is important. You need to realize that many people are getting confused about money and freedom. I promise you that with money, I promise you nobody's talking about freedom. I promise you they're saying financial freedom. I promise you that financial freedom is related to money only. I mean, they're relating freedom with money. I never need you to do that. I need you to relate freedom with freedom only. I need you to realize that freedom's only freedom. I realize that freedom's never with anything else. I realize that when I relate freedom to drugs, a freedom junkie. A freedom junkie, I realize a freedom soccer ball. I realize a freedom person. I realize a freedom person goes. I realize no matter what, I see a freedom sun. I see a freedom. I can relate freedom with everything. I can see freedom food. I can see freedom food. I need you to realize that freedom's only with freedom. I need you to mix words together. I just need you to realize that you stick to freedom here. I realize that freedom's open-minded. I realize those who go the free way are always open. I realize that those people who are closed-minded are going the way of money. I realize they need money. I realize they need to be like I was with my biological dad in the gambling house, where I was competing against every human being for a position of who has more money. I never fucking care about that. I see Jesus. I see the guy never had money in his life. I promise you had the biggest status. I promise you that Jesus never owned real estate in his life. I promise you he lived like a god. I promise you there are people out there who are going around the world and saying, I will accumulate 40,000 units. I say good luck. I compare that person with Jesus. I say Jesus will have more time freedom. I say Jesus will have a much better life where he never has to make all those phone calls and never has to manage all those people and also never has to make all that money for real estate. I promise you when you own real estate, you do it for the money. I promise you're never doing it for God. You may say you're doing, I promise you may say that you're doing it to live life. I promise you may say that you're doing it so you can have food for your family. I promise you that is a tragedy. I promise you that you're never even doing it for God. I promise you you're doing it for your own selfish needs and pleasures. I promise you those who work for money are doing it for selfish matters. I mean selfish matters in terms of they're doing it in a way that is only going to help them. I need you to realize that those people who do freedom work, however, I fucking never do it for the money. I never do it because of selfishness. I do it because I can fucking help you. I do it for God. I never do it for the money. I've got nothing to scam you about. I realize when I put $100 price tag on this, I promise you'll never watch it in the first place. I promise you'll believe a scam. I promise you when I put $1,000 for this one, I promise you that you'll believe a scam even more. I promise you that when I promise you when I put a $1 price tag on this, I promise you'll never open it because it's fucking cheap for you. You'll be saying Danny Milivojevic, the $1 man. You understand? How fucking stupid is that? You need to realize that there are many people doing that. You realize they're making books. I realize they're pricing the whole book for $7. I realize they're pricing their own book. I mean, they're pricing themselves for $7. I realize how stupid they are. I was doing that. I was only doing that because everybody else was doing it. I was following the crowd. I'll never go around the world accumulating real estate ever again. I never have to fucking search for real estate markets. I never have to fucking see what's going on in the stock market anymore. I never care about money. I care about freedom. I stick to the freedom road because in the freedom road, I just see number one there. I never fucking care about finance anymore. I care about freedom. I can see the world and what's happening with finance, although I'm still open to learning about everything. I see that's the difference. I've seen many people close themselves already. I realize some people say, I never fucking care about finance, and probably should they close themselves from ever learning finance again. I promise you that finance continues. I promise you that finance will always be important. I never need you to close yourself off. I need you to still say something, even though you seem closed off. I never need you to close off. I could say, I never fucking care about finance anymore. I only care about freedom. I promise you, in freedom, I'll gain finance. I already have money. I'm never worried about money. I promise you, I live like I'm broke. I'm never broke. I have freedom. I'm never broke. I promise you that you need to live like you are broke. I never need you to say that you're broke, though. I never need you to say that you're broke. I need you to say that you are never broke. I need you to say that you have money. I never need you to be broke. I never need you to be poor. I promise you that those people who say they're broke, I promise you they're poor financially. I promise you that they're poor in some aspect of life. I realize it's never really about finances. I realize it's about freedom. I realize when you're broke, you can still have freedom. I realize when you live like you're broke, you'll find the freedom road. I realize that John Raymond has a book that is called Live Like You're Broke. I realize no matter what, that you go and teach yourself how to be free. I realize that in his book, you can honestly learn freedom. I need you to promote books. I need you to go and see it. I need you to realize that it's never really about money anymore. I realize no matter what, that those people who are open to life always have money. I realize that the most wealthy in life are teaching the most freedom. I realize that the system can never beat you. I realize the system is designed for you to work money. I realize that the system of today's world is for you to work for money. I realize you can beat the system easily. I realize the system of the world is fucking easy to beat. I just need you to go the freeway. I promise you, you'll always fucking be free. I promise you, no matter what happens in the world about money and the crisis of money, I promise you that the freeway will solve everything. I promise you the freeway will solve everything. I can say that no matter what, it all comes down to how dedicated are you to work for free. I promise you that you'll be dedicated to work for free. I promise you, no matter what, I have a nice beautiful image over here. I'll just show you. I have an image of myself where I went and grabbed some hay. I grabbed some beautiful grass with a nice rack when I was a farm boy, when I was a young, I am still a young boy. I'm a young baby now. I'm a young baby. I never need to confuse myself. I realize that I'm younger now than that photo. I realize I'm younger now. I'm more smarter. I'm more developed than I was back then. I feel greater. I have more compassion. I have more serenity. I have more awareness. I promise you that more awareness is more openness. I promise you that more awareness is more love. I promise you I had love back then. I promise you I had a certain amount of love. I promise you I have more love now than I do then. I promise you I can do more for others now than I can as that person. I realize no matter what, I'm a baby still. I'm more younger than ever. I'm younger now than ever. I never need you to confuse oldness with youngness. I need you to realize that no matter how young you are, you need to grow younger. You, over the next 100 years, I promise you, in the next 100 years, you reach whatever age in life, you need to be younger than you were yesterday. I can say, no matter what, that is the best freedom road. I can say that's the best way to live. I need you to grow younger each year. I promise you, as you level up, I promise you, as you study more wisdom, I promise you, as you grow with wisdom, you become younger. You never become older. I promise you that those people who are older are lacking. I promise you they're lacking. I promise you they're poor. I promise you the people who are slaves. I never need you to be a slave. I need you to grow free. I need you to grow for free. I never need you to ask for $100,000 so you can grow at a seminar. I never need you to ask for $100,000 so that you can stand in front of the crowd to do it for money so that you can grow. You never do it for the money. You do it to grow in front of people. You can grow anywhere for free. You do it freely. You never need money so that you can gain love. You just go give it freely and you'll find somebody who will also give you love for free. And then you can cherish that person because it's for freedom. You can realize it's something bigger than money. You can realize it's something that money can't, you can see that money can never buy that. You can see that money can never buy freedom. You can be only free. You can only be free. You were born as a baby. I need you to stay a baby. I never need you to start being a teenager. I never need you to start being an adolescent. I never need you to start being a puberty person. I never need you to start being a 20s kid. I never need you to be a 90s person. I never need you to be way back in the past. I never need you to call yourself a 60s person. I never need you to call yourself old. I never need you to be the millennial person. I just need you to be a baby in life. I never care about what they say about adults. I realize that adults for me are babies. I realize that an adult is just as smart as a little baby. I'm smarter now than I was when I was born. I need you to realize that. I realize I came out into the world. Mama. I was saying mama. I fell into ego. I fell into ego just now. It was no matter what. I was saying mama. I was saying tata. I understand. I have to put the I there. I put the I there. I have no ego. I'm not the ego. I'm not evil. I realize the ego is evil. I'm not evil. I realized when I was born, I was fucking saying nothing. I was just looking at my mama. I was just looking at my tata. I didn't fucking know who they were. I just understand. A little baby. I'm smarter now than that baby. I just realized I grew smarter. I grew younger. I'm younger than the baby I was. I'm much more younger now than ever. I need you to realize that's the road you must be on. I need you to realize that everything else is a facade. I realize they say adults only. I realize they're saying adults only. I don't know what the fuck an adult is. I only see babies only. I need you to realize they make them appear. I realize that they make themselves appear old. I realize that those adults make themselves appear old. I never need you to be old. I need you to realize when I was grabbing the grass with the rack, I was doing it freely. I never fucking did that for money. I can imagine myself saying to my grandfather back then, I realized to my biological father, I realized to my biological grandfather, about, I need $100 so I can do this for you. I realized I cut off the love. I cut off the love between us. I realized there would be no more love between me and my grandfather. I realized no matter what, I see it's my biological grandfather. I realized my grandfather, I realized my father, I realized my mother, I realized my son. I realized everything about that is just God. I realized that's God for me. I realized everything that's biological is who I grew up with in terms of family. I realize anything else that's never biological, I call my heavenly father. I realize my mother is my heavenly father. I realize my my everything is my Heavenly Father. I used to realize that I have a term, I am Saint I. I am Saint I. I use the I reference in everything. I used to realize that I, Saint I am Saint I. I for I love you. I love you. I am Saint I. I used to realize I go by that name. I go by that name. I used to realize that I is going to open you. I is going to open everybody. I speak every time I can more and more about my I. I'm always increasing it. I'm always looking to increase my I capacity. I write in my journal, I went to this place, I was doing this,